All right. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone doing? Monday, August 8th. Monday, August 8th. So, this week is this week's definitely a little bit interesting. We have some big economic news on Wednesday. We have CPI. So I'm coming into this week with the focus of managing my risk before Wednesday. How aggressive do I want to get on today and tomorrow before an important reading on Wednesday. So that's where that's sort of where my head's at as I sort of look at stuff this morning. Manage risk, be cautious. Market's at a very pivotal moment here. On the technicals and on the potential economic news that could move the market. So coming into this week with definitely some risk management, number one on top of the list. So just make sure to remember that, guys. This is definitely, we'll probably see some opportunities on the short term today and tomorrow. But I am in the position of, not wanting to put on any swing trades through Wednesday. I don't want to have anything to do with, trying to guess what we get on Wednesday and how the market reacts to that. So we'll definitely, not hold anything through Wednesday. I think that's probably the best bet. Keep the portfolio tight. Make sure that we're ready with cash for short-term opportunities. That's sort of where my head's at right now. So we'll sort of talk more about that. We'll look at a few levels that I'm watching here on the overall market and individual stocks. Yes, I am still holding my Google puts, which are probably going to open red today. So I'll talk about that. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So today is the 8th, August 8th. Futures, as always, economic earnings calendar. So let's first start by pulling up the earnings or the economic calendar because this one's big. So pulling that up here. Economic calendar. Today we have manufacturing index. We'll see if that has any movement here on the market at 8:30. I don't believe it would have too much influence. Some building permits, housing starts, and then on Wednesday. Oh, this is the wrong Wednesday. Hold on, guys. I'm looking at the wrong dates. Here we go. Sorry. Here's today. So today, New York Fed 3-year inflation expectations on Monday. Today, August 8th. Sound is low. I haven't changed anything. So Monday, August 8th, New York Fed 3-year inflation expectations. Tomorrow, small business index, productivity, unit labor costs. And then Wednesday, that's the big one. Consumer price index, core CPI, CPI year over year, core CPI year over year, all in the pre-market on Wednesday morning. So these 2 days here, Monday, Tuesday, I want to be cautious because I don't know exactly, what happens here in the pre-market on Wednesday. That would be, something that you want to make sure you are protecting yourself about, right? You want to make sure you are not getting irrational into a 8:30 a.m. pre-market move on the CPI. Thursday, jobless claims as usual, and then Friday, not much on Friday. So that's this week. Next week, pretty normal stuff. Retail sales on Wednesday. Everything else sort of the same. So yeah, this Wednesday, CPI, big one. All right. Let's go ahead and pull up the earnings calendar. Here we go. Here's the earnings calendar. So today, this morning, we had Palantir, which is obviously you guys saw is down. Upstart is after hours today. Lemonade after hours today. Marathon after hours today. So Novavax, another biotech. You saw mRNA had a pretty decent week, I think, last week. Tuesday, before open, Norwegian, Spirit, some travel names to watch out for: Coinbase, Roblox, Trade Desk, Plug, Unity, Wish, Celsius, Wynn Resorts. So some interesting ones. Coinbase has been on a lot of people's watch lately because of that big move it made last week. Wednesday, nothing I'm interested in, really. Jack in the Box, Wendy's, Jumia. So interesting. Wednesday after close, Disney, Dutch Bros. Disney should be definitely an interesting one. Keep an eye on Disney. Thursday, nothing really. Rivian, if you're interested in the EV side of things. And then that's just about it. So nothing too big on the earnings side. I think I would say the most important one would be tomorrow after close. Coinbase, Roblox, Trade Desk, Unity. Those are some decent ones to watch out for, but nothing that I'll be interested in playing personally. I do own not a lot, but I do own Upstart shares, so I would like to see Upstart perform okay during that. Tesla, we'll take a look at 840. I want Tesla back at 840. That's where I'm looking for Tesla to pull back to. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it, but that's where I would be comfortable to try to see if Tesla can bounce off of. I'll show you guys why. Shopify is holding 40 as a support. That is bullish to me. I do like that Shopify is turning that 40 level into support, so definitely going to keep an eye on that. AMD and Nvidia are sort of trading right at supply levels today as we open, so I'm going to be cautious of how much more upside is there. Google also trading at a supply. I am at a Google put option, guys. Kept it relatively small, risking about $1,000 on the portfolio, which is it's small for my portfolio. Always want to think about your percent risk, guys, right? Always focus on percent risk. I'm risking about, I would say I'm risking about 2% of the portfolio here on this swing trade. So I'm comfortable around the 2% area on any kind of swing trade. Apple, 166.50 level. This is a big supply level to watch out for. Amazon is at 140. If it holds 140, I think it's bullish. I'll talk about that. Coinbase, and then Roku. Roku had a downgrade this morning and is starting to reject an important previous support level. So some names to be looking at today, some levels we're going to look at. And then, of course, guys, make sure to go into the Google Docs to put the earnings or put the stocks that you want to look at. All right, let's get started. This is the Nasdaq. Now, I just want to sort of talk about, I want to talk a little bit about where my head's at with the Nasdaq right now. So I'm going to delete that line for now. Let's just delete these lines for now. I'll redo them on the shorter term time frame. So here's the Nasdaq. It's on the daily chart. And there's one thing that first pops in my head right now, and that is that my upside risk to reward is getting smaller. And so when I'm starting to feel that way, that, do I really want to be putting on long-term or upside longer-term positions here? I would say your risk to reward to the upside is getting a little bit smaller. Back here, where I took that original swing trade on this break and retest, you can see off this previous rejection and the hold here, I felt like the risk to reward was good there because I had my risk underneath that retest level and my reward back up to around 13.4, 13.5. So I liked that risk to reward. But now that we are trading, just about 100 points away from this rejection point, I'm getting a little bit more cautious on what I'm putting on the portfolio. Along with that, you are sitting at this long-term downtrend. So this long-term downtrend is also there, which could sort of affect the momentum that we have to the upside. So I've been, I put a little bit of downside plays in my portfolio to try to protect. I put the Google puts in my portfolio just in case, because I am still holding my Shopify leaps. So I used Google puts, and I'll explain why I did, just as a potential hedge. Because I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, we're 20% off the highs. We're at a supply area here around this 13.5. We're at the long-term downtrend. Could there be a potential for a little bit of a pullback? Is the risk to reward really in my favor to be still looking for longs here into this supply? Obviously, we could go through, but for me, the risk reward is just not there as of now. I'd want to see a few things to feel like we're going to get some more upside. So that's the first thing. That's sort of like my long-term view, guys, what I'm sort of thinking this morning. If there's upside, it's short-term for me. I'll play it short-term. I'll scalp it. But going to be cautious, really trusting us into this supply level. If I go to last thing I want to show you and it sort of goes to what I'm thinking about here, right? So this was a nice push off the lows, right? What was this? This was 18%. This was back in March. We had an 18% push off the lows right here. This is the area I'm looking at. This move right here, about an 18% move. Now, you can see we moved into a previous rejection point, right? You can see right here, we moved into a previous rejection point, which is looking very similar to something like this, a previous rejection point. We were pushing into the longer term downtrend, which we are right now. Was the risk to reward good to be putting on longs in this general area? I would disagree with that, right? I would not want to be putting on longs at a previous rejection point and the long-term downtrend. So we find ourselves pretty damn close to the same type of play. Previous rejection point and the long-term downtrend. So to me, right? To me, that's just me, right? You don't need to agree with everything I say, but to me, I think it's right to be cautious here. So just wanted to point that out, guys. That's my feeling as of now. 4-hour chart, you can see this rejection point a little bit more clear if we zoom in, sort of what I'm watching. You can see I'm watching this triple top here from back in April, May. Rejection, 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 and we're sort of creeping our way into that. So do I want to, am I going to try to play, a 1% move on the Nasdaq versus, a potential break and retest down here of 4 or 5%? I'd rather be the player down here. So watching that, what do I think has to happen for me to look for longs again? Personally, I would want to see the next place where I would get very aggressive on longs, which I did back here. I would get very aggressive if we broke the 13.5, we retested it. All right, if we started to see this, then I would start getting aggressive on longs right here. This would be my next aggressive long position entry. Above this rejection point, above the long-term downtrend, a retest of this 13.5, and then start to look for that long entry off that retest. This is where, if I see this happen on the market, this is where I'd start to be looking for some more upside plays. This is where I'd start to enter some more swing trades right here. So that's just sort of what I'm watching. I have to stay patient. I got to wait for the move that I'm looking for. Until we see that, I am under the belief that we could very well reject at these previous triple top rejections. All right. So that doesn't mean that I'm right, guys. So please remember that. It does not mean that I am right. I could be very wrong. I'm just sort of pointing out what I'm looking at, and you have to decide for yourself. So if we go to I just want to show you the 1 minute real quick. Actually, you know what? I'm going to show you the 5 minute. Here's sort of what I'm concerned about, right? Here's the 5 minute chart. I am just wanting to, if you want to get some short-term upside, then I would want to at least see a break over Friday pre-market levels. That's sort of what I'm looking at. 13,380.50, 384.50. That is the pre-market high from between Thursday and Friday. I would at least want to see the Nasdaq get over that level, right? Before getting too aggressive here on short-term upside. I'd want to at least see something like this, at least see a little bit of this, start to see us hold the pre-market levels, and then start to see if I can play it. If I want to play that short-term upside, I would want to at least see the break of the Thursday, Friday, overnight session highs around this 13,384.50. That's like a minimum to me, because I don't, if I'm looking at upside here, I'm going to play, if I'm going to play upside, I have about a 0.4% until we hit that rejection point. So I want to be cautious playing with 0.4%. That's something I'd be watching. So overnight session highs, 13,384.50. That's definitely a level to watch today on the short term. And you guys can see, not too far above that, this is that big rejection point, right? So risk to reward is a little bit tight up here. Does not mean that there are not short-term opportunities. Do not take that the wrong way. For downside, I would only really get too aggressive on downside, guys, if the Nasdaq broke 12,860. Because look at what the Nasdaq did. Look at what the Nasdaq did last week, which is still a very bullish type of technical move, right? What is this? This is a beautiful little break and retest. So there is still bullish action here on the shorter term analysis. You can see the 30-minute, you have rejection, rejection, and support. That was a pretty damn nice break and retest on the Nasdaq last week. This is the 30-minute chart over the last 5 trading days. You can see rejection, rejection, break, retest, hold it as support. So you can see just with what I'm talking about, there are conflicting views, right? This right here is bullish, right? You can see the break and retest. It's bullish on the 30-minute. Now, when you zoom out a little bit, right, when you look at the longer term analysis, you have supply above, downtrend potential rejection, and on top of that, you have CPI on Wednesday. So there's conflicting views here. In my own analysis, there are conflicting views. What am I going to do mentally if I have conflicting views? Scale down, risk off, wait for something to show more confirmation. So just remember that, guys. Yes, this break and retest looks good. I'd love to play this break and retest. What happens if I play this break and retest and we reject off this high and we reject the downtrend and we break down? I would be upset with no one but myself, right? I would be upset with no one but myself because I knew that the supply was above. I knew that CPI was Wednesday. I knew that there was, a long-term downtrend rejection point, and I still played the break and retest because of a short-term look here. So, conflicting views. When that happens, scale down, risk off, wait for something to show more confirmation. Okay? ES. Let's continue on the ES. Here's the 4-hour chart on the ES. You guys can see, where are we opening up? We're opening up right at this potential rejection area. You can see rejections, 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 rejections. Whole lot of rejections here between 4160 and 4200. What would I want to see to get bullish on the ES? I would want to see a break and a hold of 4200. That is where I would look for upside. A break and hold of 4200. That would be the bullish setup that I would look for upside on the ES. As long as we are trading below 4200, I think you are very susceptible to rejections in this entire zone. So be careful, all within 4160 to 4200. I think you are susceptible to some potential rejection points until we see a nice break and retest of 4200. Turn 4200 into support. Then I think you get that upside momentum. Then I think you get more people that are confident for upside above 4200. Again, we have to watch out for CPI on Wednesday, which could change everything. Okay, downside support held very nicely on the ES. You can see between 4100, 4075. See this previous demand down here, right? And you can see we held it very nice. So you're right in between this little range. Last week, we basically just traded in a range. That's all we did. You can see this is basically last week's price action between the demand and the supply. That is all we're doing. We are just trading between the demand and the supply on the 30-minute here. What direction does this want to go? As of right now, it does look like it has some strength. Do we see a supply rejection, right, around this 4160 to 4200? Gonna wait to see which side of this channel really starts to show that strength before getting aggressive. All right, let's go Dow real quick and Russell. You can see Dow's basically the same story, trading within supply and demand. I would wait for a break of that. I would probably wait for let's zoom out here. Yeah, and you still have the 33.2 above. So for me, I would even want to be cautious up until 33.2 on the Dow. You can see, look at this previous rejection point up here. You're not even close to that yet. So I would still watch out for the upside on the Dow until 33.2. That is your potential big time rejection here from back in June and July. I'm sorry, in May and June. So you have your potential rejection up there at 33.2, and then you must hold this 32.5 low. Russell is making a nice move this morning. Small caps are sort of moving this morning as well. So this is a nice move for the Russell. This is sort of what I'd want to see on the ES to get bullish, right? You can see this previous rejection point of 4,200. You can see that the Russell is actually outperforming nicely there. Nice push on the Russell this morning above this previous high. Now what do you want to see? Now you'd like to see the Russell pull back, turn this into support, start to do something like this, and then look to see if you can long it off a break and retest. So nice strength on the Russell. Keep an eye on those small caps today. If you are a small cap trader, I would assume you have stocks like AMC, GameStop, I don't know, other small caps that are maybe Upstart. I'm not sure exactly which small caps are making the Russell move here this morning, but definitely some outperformance on the Russell right now. Nice. All right, so that's the futures. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. Again, I'll just sort of review that real quick. Just do a little speed round. For me, you do have some short-term bullish indications of a break and retest for more upside, but when I zoom out, I'm just a little bit cautious of the potential rejections up here around 13,500, and on the ES, possible rejections within this 4160 to 4200 level. I would want to see a break of 4200 to get bullish on the market here. That's sort of what I'm looking for. If the ES can break 4200, then I think that the market will want that continuation. If we can get above 42, retest it, hold it, then I think you get more continuation into the coming weeks. I think that is a very pivotal point there on the S&P 500. All right, let's go Tesla. So Tesla, it had a nice pullback on Friday, and it's up a little bit in the pre-market today. You're sort of trading in a range, which makes me not love Tesla here. You are trading within this 950 and 840 sort of range. You have a rejection point back here, which definitely rejected around this 950 area. And then the pullback towards that 840 level. So we are right in this range, which makes it, I think, pretty difficult to sort of judge where you're going to move next. You are watching sort of this uptrend on the short term. I don't know. It wasn't a perfect uptrend, but you were watching it sort of like this, right? This was the uptrend on the 30-minute. You can see right there. And look at that breakdown of it. Look at that breakdown of it, right? On Tesla. The break of the downtrend on Friday caused that downside move. So if we are trading within a range here on Tesla between 840 and 950, you're going to really just have to watch the short-term momentum to find trades. It's going to be scalp trades, short-term momentum trades. It's not going to be any type of real structure off either of these levels. You're sort of right there in the center. So for me, I believe that Tesla should come down to 840. This was something I was talking to the group about. I would like to see Tesla at 840. I think 840 would be a fantastic pullback. Try to hold that as a retest for more upside, right? If we were to pull back to these previous support lows, previous rejection level here, if we were to pull back to 840, I think that would be a healthy pullback and actually a place that could be a potential long opportunity. So I want to see Tesla at 840. That's just my personal belief, my personal wants. Until then, I'm a little bit cautious in this range, right? I'm a little bit cautious in this range. But very nice trade on Friday to the downside, guys, if you caught that. Shopify. I'm sort of liking this. As you probably know already, I'm in Shopify Leaps. I am liking the shop break and retest of 40. This is looking pretty bullish to me for Shopify. Now, of course, this can be totally invalidated due to CPI on Wednesday, etc., all the external factors. But this is the first time in almost 4 months, 3-4 months, that Shopify has turned a 40 level into support, right? You can see rejection, 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 and a rejection. Now, if we zoom in here, we can see instead of a rejection, Shopify has turned it into a potential support. So that is bullish in my opinion. That's a clear switch from rejection into support, right? That is a clear switch from supply into demand. That's what I'm watching, right? If Shopify loses 40, then I think you lose momentum again. But you can see that it has started to defend that 40 level. So I would watch this, guys. I would definitely be watching Shopify if it can defend 40. If it can continue to hold this as support, maybe you continue to see that upside. Jay Price. Thank you, man. As always, Jay. This is awesome. Thank you so much, man. As always. J Price always coming through with the donations. If Tesla doesn't pull back to 840, I'm going to have to leave. Then come back and donate another 20. Happy hunting this week. Thanks, Jay. Shopify, $40 level. Watch that, guys. Big previous rejection point that could turn into a potential support. Let's watch that. Okay, Nvidia. So Nvidia again is another stock that I am bullish on Nvidia. However, I need to limit my expectations on Nvidia for one reason. The one reason I need to limit my expectations on Nvidia is the fact that it is trading at a very important rejection point. So I can't get too aggressive here on Nvidia, knowing that it is starting to potentially reject around this 190 to 192 level. You can see we had previous rejections here and here and here and here. So if we've rejected here in the past, I can't just be irrational and get long Nvidia here with the potential that it does something like this, right? Something of a rejection of 190 to 192. So watching that on Nvidia, guys, just want to make sure you're aware Nvidia is within this potential supply level. If I break this down, you can see that we are definitely, we're definitely starting to get stuck in here. Right? You can see we're getting stuck. We're not really finding that strength that you'd like to see. You're slowing down. You're starting to definitely react to the supply. Just because we haven't broken down, that doesn't mean you can't at least visually see that we are starting to see that supply reaction. Right? We're starting to see a little bit of that. If you watch it intraday, you would know. When you watch Nvidia on the 1 minute chart, you would see the struggle that it's having. Right? You could see it on the short-term time frames that it is definitely starting to struggle within this zone. So for me, when I start to see this again, guys, I risk off. I scale down. I make sure to be cautious of a potential rejection level, and that until that happens, then until I see that the move, then I'm just going to be cautious. So 192, I think, is an important level to break above. If you do, I think you can push towards that 200 if you can continue this upside. But I need to wait for at least some more confirmation on Nvidia and some more confirmation on the overall market. So yeah. Daily SMA is there? Is it? Let me check that. Let me get that for us here just to take a look. Huh. Yeah. Good point. Good call. Peter, thanks for that. Yeah, there's your 100 SMA right there, guys, on Nvidia. So not only do you have that supply, you also have the 100 SMA sitting right above it. Which could definitely, there's no doubt about it, guys. This could definitely be a rejection point. So I can't stay one-sided here, right? You just can't. I know things look bullish. I know this move has been very nice, right? If you caught it from the lows or even halfway to the lows, this was a very nice trade. But this has to be the point, guys, where you start to say, okay, this is profit-taking time potentially. This is a potential healthy pullback time, right? Let's be a little bit cautious here. 100 SMA on the upside, thanks to Peter, and a supply zone around 190, 192. That's all a recipe for let's be cautious, right? So just watch out for that. Just wanted to point that out today. And then AMD, let's go ahead and watch AMD because AMD is an outperformer. AMD is also starting to trade in this 104 to 110 area. So 104, definitely an area to watch out for. Previous rejection, and then another rejection point, maybe a little bit higher, around 110. So 104, 110, AMD, strong outperformance. I would say if AMD can get above 104, then you get a little retest. That could be a nice long entry. If you can get this 104.50, sort of break and hold, then maybe there is another upside move towards 110. But again, market confirmation. We need to see how the Nasdaq looks this week. That is something that I would watch. Okay. Google. So Google, I put on a put play on Google. Looks like I'll probably get stopped out. Maybe I'm wrong here, which, I was accepting of it. That's, the risk that I put on. But here's why I put this Google put on. We'll see. I have my stop loss around 120. I really don't want to see it over 120 today. That is sort of where I'm going to stop out of this trade if I'm incorrect. Here's why I put it on. So first of all, I have Shop Leaps in my portfolio, so I am sort of exposed to the upside, or I'm exposed to the downside if the market moves lower. And I liked potentially playing the rejection point here on the 4-hour channel. So I'm sort of playing this 4-hour channel rejection. You can see right here. Rejection, 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 and we're sitting at it today. So I was looking for this to move lower off this rejection point once again. We'll see if that happens, but I am still going to be monitoring this today, and we also have the 100 SMA above right there around 120 as well. So 100 SMA declining, sort of coming into price action, previous like multiple rejection points around this 120 level. Maybe I'm a little bit early here. Maybe this is the time Google breaks out. If the market stays strong, Google will absolutely break 120, and then I'll have to flip my bias here, because if Google does turn into 120 support, if we start to hold this 120 as a support level, then I definitely do see more upside on Google. It is a strong name. It will absolutely move with the Nasdaq. It's a strong stock. Obviously, we all know Google's a strong stock that will move higher if the overall market moves higher. So I'm not quite bullish on it yet. Chill out. But, if it does break 120, then I'm going to have to stop out of my put play and take my loss for sure, because that could sort of influence a little bit more momentum towards this 123, maybe even higher. That would also be a break of the 100 SMA. So, yeah, just watch out for that. Google is starting to trade in this supply. If the market does break down, then I think this is a very nice candidate for a rejection, right? If the market does find some rejection this week, then this will be a nice candidate for that downside. But that's if, right? That's just if the market was to get weak. Not saying that that will happen. All right, Apple. We can see Apple right here. And this is, I believe, going to be a pretty pivotal. Can't say that word. A pretty important, I'll just say important. How about that? Let me just say important. Pretty important level on Apple, 166.50. Why is that? You can see previous rejections all right here. Rejections, 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 166.50. And you can see if I zoom in, it has definitely started to show some signs of struggle here. You can see back on Wednesday of last week, we had a triple top on Wednesday of last week. And Thursday of last week, we had a rejection. We tried to get above it and quickly failed, right? Quickly failed. Pivotal. A pivotal point on Apple. So you can see triple top right here, 2 days of straight triple tops, and today we are sort of trading right at it again, trying to get above it. So on the 4-hour, we can see this is definitely an important area on Apple. This, I think, will be sort of a proxy to what the market does. If Apple does get over and really starts to move here, that will absolutely help the Nasdaq and ES move higher. So if Apple can get higher, if Apple can start to break here, I think that influences the market. If Apple rejects here, then I think that absolutely influences the market as well. So I'm almost going to be watching Apple as a Nasdaq or ES today. I'm almost going to be watching Apple as a sort of a proxy to the market, because I know that if Apple is strong above this area, then there's definitely going to be some follow through on the overall market. If Apple's weak off this area, then I think there will be follow through in that direction. So definitely watching 166.50 on Apple. Amazon. So I do like this little hold on Amazon, guys. If you want to try to play short term, I don't mind this little short term hold. This is really all I'm be watching. If Amazon on the short term time frames, this is the 30-minute chart. If Amazon is going to hold 140, then I think this is a little bit of a break and retest, right? You can clearly see it. This is a little bit of a swap from rejection to support, from supply to demand. Here's your swap, right? This was your previous rejection, and you can see it is swapped into support. So that's really all I'm going to watch on Amazon, guys, in the short term. If Amazon is trading above 140, I think there is opportunity for another upside move. maybe if we get sort of the break and retest of the previous highs, just like this, right? If I see this, I'll definitely look to maybe play it short term for a little break and retest of the previous highs, 143.50. However, I think if you lose 140, then that is your momentum killer. So you have to hold 140, right? Amazon must hold 140, or you're going to have a little bit of momentum swing back to the downside under these previous highs. So I would watch this. If you guys are Amazon, if you trade Amazon, this is definitely a good watch, in my opinion. You have a pretty clear technical level to play off of here at 140. Or I'm sorry, this is like 139. Yeah, maybe you sort of watch the 139. That's probably the better watch. Yeah, sorry guys, 139. I don't know why I said 140. It's really 139. It's this right here, right? Previous rejection, previous rejection. You can see the support that came in right here. So it is really 139, guys. So as long as Amazon is above 139, which is the previous support and the double top rejection level, then I would say the bullish momentum is still sort of there. It definitely is in the short term. You'll obviously have to watch the overall market with this, right? You can't go long here if the Nasdaq is breaking down. If you're seeing the Nasdaq slip, then Amazon's going to slip with it. So just be cautious of that. Coinbase. Yeah, Coinbase is holding up for sure. 200 SMA on the daily charts there as well. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. I got to get these on my charts more often. Let me get that on there too. Because I've been watching this more myself. I don't have it on the live stream charts this morning, but I have been watching these myself because they have been coming into play quite often. So yeah, there's the Amazon 200 and 100 SMA. Here's the 200 above around this 145. All right, Coinbase. I'm going to take that off now because now it's sort of messing up my chart here. There we go. All right, Coinbase, if I go to the daily. So where did Coinbase reject? Where did it reject? Let me go to the 4-hour chart. On that big move to the upside, you guys saw that Coinbase was rejecting that 112 level. You guys can see right here, you had this push into 112. This was a previous support, all right, back in April, May. And you came up into it and you rejected it pretty aggressively, right off 112. So for me, if you guys are trading Coinbase, I would just continue to watch 112. That's the big level to keep an eye out for. 112 would be the major rejection point. Right now, it seems like momentum's still there. So if you are going to trade Coinbase, it looks like a little bit of a momentum trade, but I would just watch out for this slight rejection point. If we go to the 5-minute chart, here's what I'd watch out for, guys. Right here, you guys can see this previous rejection point around this 101.60, 102 area. It seems like it's starting to respect it this morning as well. So you see this right here, 101.50, 102. It looks like it's starting to show that rejection at that level already this morning. So just watch out for that. 101.50, 102, that's what I'd watch. All here, previous rejection. This was, if I go to the 1-minute chart, actually, I'll just zoom in. You can see the rejections that came in intraday on Friday. If I move over, you can see, boom, rejection right there. So just watch out for that. Can I switch to IBKR for? No, I can't, Kasim, sorry. This is, I will always use Thinkorswim for charts. All right, Roku. So Roku is interesting. It was definitely a strong one on Friday. Regardless of the market weakness, it was really actually holding up pretty damn well. If I go to the 4-hour chart, I am watching this Roku for a gap fill rejection. You can see we had a gap down, right? We filled the gap, and we are now trading at this previous quadruple bottom, previous support that I think should turn into resistance. However, you don't want to mess around with Roku when it has some kind of weird strength, because if we go to the 1-hour chart and we just get a little bit more time here, Roku had some weird strength on Friday against the market, and that is something that I did not want to mess with. So you did move higher on Friday, even though the market was sort of breaking down, and it is still sort of sitting right there. You have a Roku downgrade this morning from Pivotal Research. downgrade to a $60 price target. So does that cause a little bit of downside pressure? You guys can see support, 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 support. I would love to see this reject because this would be a very nice trade, right? I would love to see this. What a trade that would be. Stop over the highs, play it off this previous support into rejection. Would love to see it, but it's not there yet, right? It's just not there yet. So waiting to see this actually break down. I think you need to get it to break right here, 78. 78 is the level that I need to see break before I think the downside comes in, right here, 78. If you get that 78 break, right? If you get the break here of the previous support, or previous rejection into support, if you can get that crack of 78, then I would love to play that, right? So keep an eye on that. That's sort of my watch. It's sort of that left field watch on Roku. It's not my main focus, but it definitely is something I'm monitoring. Let's get a quick look at Microsoft. We didn't look at Microsoft. I just wanted to point this out, guys. I am out of my swing trade, just to let everyone know. I don't know if you remember that one. That was the swing trade. Did very well. Made a video about it. And it was a very nice trade. And I did exit because I am a little bit concerned of the upside on the overall market. I wanted to lock in my profits. But you can see Microsoft still looks like it wants that. Microsoft still looks like it wants that 290 to me, right there. That previous triple top 1, 2, 3. It does look like it's still sort of aiming towards that 290. If the market stays strong, I think Microsoft aims towards that 290. We'll have to see what the market does. All right. Let's quickly check in on the Netflix and Target gaps. So I don't know if you guys know, we've been watching that Netflix 230 level for that break, which has not been able to happen. Look how many times it's rejected this 230. You have the 100 SMA here as well. So watch out for Netflix 230 again this week, guys. That's our watch once again. I know we've been watching that for a while. And then the Target 168. This is actually starting to look like a rejection play to me rather than a breakout, right? This is starting to look like a play back to the downside, if anything, on Target. Back towards maybe 158. So you can clearly see the rejections that's coming in here at 168 again. All right, so that's it, guys. Let's get a quick look at Tesla again. A little bit of momentum here this morning. Nothing crazy. I mean, it's not even halfway back to where it was on Friday, so we'll see if that holds up. That's really what let's take another quick look at Nasdaq. So the NQ sort of just grinding here. So again, guys, on the Nasdaq, I would like to see at least a break of the overnight session highs back between Thursday, Friday of around 13,384.50. Before even thinking about going long here today. All right, if you guys want to pop in your tickers that you want to look at in the Google Docs, you can do so right now, and we will look at your stocks. If you also want to take a second and press the like button, that would be fantastic. If you guys want to pop your tickers in here, remember, you have access. If you are a member of the YouTube channel, you have access to this form. Let me go ahead and copy the link. I'll go ahead and pop this onto the YouTube membership channel if you are a member of the YouTube channel. And you have access to this. So I'll pop that on there right now. Community tab. All right, so right here, guys, go to the community tab. If you press that join button down below, you have access to this. Go to the link. All right, so we'll do those in just a second. If you guys could take a second, press the like button, that would be awesome. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna do Square. I do want to look at Square, so good call on that. We'll take a look at Square. We already looked at Roku. We can throw BA in there. Yeah, thank you guys for all the support on the channel, guys. We hit 50,000 subscribers. I'm definitely going to be, working on a little bit of a giveaway here soon. Once things slow down a little bit, I'm going to do something. I'm thinking about how I can almost start a long-term portfolio for someone. That's sort of what I want to do. Maybe one share of a bunch of tech stocks. I don't know. I guess I would just have to give away the cash value of that because I really don't think I can give you actual shares. But I want to do something like that, something that relates to the channel, something that will help you into the future. You know, I don't want to give you cash that you go blow on some Louis Vuitton, BS. I like to start, help someone start a long-term portfolio or something. All right, let's look at AbbVie. AbbVie is the first one that we have on the list. AbbVie has been sort of moving lower with healthcare. You can see it has broken down from earnings. Yeah, watch out. If AbbVie breaks this 137 area, you got to be careful here. So this is a very, very important hold here. Previous rejections into support. Just be cautious, at this level. Does it hold? Does it, you got to wait. You got to wait to see if it starts to hold. It held here previously around this 137. So just be a little bit cautious here, right? I think this is patience time on AbbVie. You want to see, is there some kind of support bounce coming in? SE? Yeah, SE is sort of at that, it's sort of at that 100 SMA and the previous rejection point. So what happens here? I would like to see if this rejects, personally. You can see right here. I would love to play a little rejection play. 100 SMA and the previous supply. That would be great. Can we get that rejection here? That's what I would look for, off of 90. Square, I did want to bring up Square because Square is at the 100 SMA as well, right? You have another stock sitting at the 100 SMA and a rejection point, right? Rejection points, 100 SMA. Look at that wick on Friday, guys. Look at that wick on Friday. So I would love to play a rejection here as well, right? A lot of things are pointing to rejection plays, but it's just not happening yet. That's sort of where that's where my mind's at, right? There's a lot of signs to play rejections here, but it's just not coming in yet. Rejection. Look at these wicks to the upside on Square at the 100 SMA. Look at that 4-hour wick and look at that Friday wick. Look at these 4-hour wicks on the upside. So if Square cannot break 90, I think there is downside off that rejection and 100 SMA. BA is just sort of grinding higher. BA has turned this into a nice retest level at 165. So I think as long as BA is over 165, you stay bullish on it. That's my opinion. As long as BA is over this little retest zone, you stay bullish on it right here. Previous support that broke down, and you can see it is turning it into support right here. So as long as BA is holding this 165, I think you can look for upside. Maybe a little bit of a flag pattern right there. All right, guys. That's all I got for you today. Oh, we got Costco. Let me go cost real quick, and that'll be it. Yeah, Costco is under this 545. I would need to see Costco back above 545 to be bullish. If it's below 545, then I think you're looking for that retest to hold around 535. But just be careful. This 545 hole is very important on Costco. I'd want to see you get back above that for upside. All right, guys. If you guys could just press the like button. Actually, I will do the McDonald's. Sorry. I'll do one more because I saw you asking for the McDonald's, so I'll do it for you. Yeah, break and retest right here. However, here's what I'll say about McDonald's. It's a slow-moving stock. Be careful. Be careful playing these kinds of stocks on options. But, yeah, it's there. Ben, I see it. Little break and retest. Previous rejection points. Maybe there's a little support here. I see it. Watch it. All right, guys. Like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you guys want to trade live with me every day, Discord chat down below if you're interested. If you want to get these charts on a daily basis in a text format, you can go down and say it says free technicals. You can go there as well. I post a futures analysis that I do every single morning in that chat for you guys to see. All right. Have a great day. Like the video, subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.